People that made the world a better place. Ernest Rutherford. In 1871, Ernest Rutherford was born. Rutherford noticed that unstable atoms emit particles. Rutherford. I think it was from New Zealand. I've got to check that. Emit is how to say emit. The first particle discovered by Rutherford was called alpha. Alpha particle. The second particle discovered was named beta. A-B, alphabet. Alpha, beta makes alphabet. Was named beta. And so the first one was A, the second one was B. Alpha and beta are the Greek letters A and B. Alpha and beta come from the word alphabet. Alpha and beta are A and B in the Greek alphabet. The half-life of a radioactivity is how long it is before half of the atoms emit a particle. Isotope. Isotopes are atoms of an element with different numbers of neutrons. The unstable isotope of uranium 235, has a half-life of 700 million years. If you start with 80 grams of atoms of that needs an of there. 80 grams of atoms of uranium, after 700 million years, you will have, after the half-life, you'll have 40 grams. After another 700 million years, you will have 20 grams. Oh, okay, that's got to go around there. The amount halves, so 700 million years is uranium 235's half-life. Yeah, it's half its life. Half-death, oh no, half-life is what we call it. The unstable isotope of carbon-14, yeah, every 700 million years, uranium-235, half of them become other atoms, smaller atoms. Unstable isotope of carbon-14 has a half-life of 5,730 years. Yep, this one's important if you're going to find out how old something is, something that used to be alive. Like if you find a dead body and you want to know if it's 100 years old or 10,000. If you start today with a rock that emits 12 clicks per second in 5,730 years, right, comma there, a rock, a body, more interesting if it's a body, the body will have an activity of 6 clicks per second after 5,730 years. After another 5,730 years, the activity will halve again to 3 clicks per second. Activity and grams both halve in the half-life time. Rutherford got his assistants to aim alpha particles at thin rectangles of gold called gold leaf. Yeah, people put that on monuments in Myanmar. They discovered that there is a tiny positive nucleus in the middle of every atom. Going around the nucleus in the 99% empty space is the electrons. Oh yeah, this is the empty space that disappears when you create a black hole. That's why black holes are tiny, tiny, tiny. Electrons orbit the nucleus. Orbit. Yeah, they go round, whizzing round the around the nucleus. Our solar system is like this, with the sun in the middle, attracting the orbiting planets through the 99% space orbiting. Rutherford, he was a great guy. He did loads of stuff, but mostly about, radioactivity, because that's what people didn't know about when he was alive, and people were finding out. Rutherford also helped his student Hans Geiger to invent the machine that goes click when a radioactive particle hits it. Yeah, the Geiger tube, the Geiger-Müller tube. The click machine is now called the Geiger counter. Rutherford used alpha particles to smash into the nucleus of nitrogen atoms and change them into oxygen atoms. Yeah, people have been trying to make lead into gold for years, but they didn't have the technology. Rutherford was the first guy to have the technology to change one type of atom, one element, into another. Alchemists tried for thousands of years to change lead into gold. Rutherford proved it could be done. Dun, dun, dun.